Right now behind me, it's just a plot of dirt. It won't be in a few years. What we know right now is that an arena, a hotel, and a restaurant will be going up here as this once historically industrial area reinvents itself. Before they try and go to court, they're still trying to let the owner of the Regency Inn and Suites sell the hotel himself. Now, I also spoke with the owner today, Hatish Patel, and he tells me he has 3 potential buyers lined up. If you had any questions about whether people are excited to vote this year, just look behind me. This line is people turning in their ballots. Behind them in the parking lot, that's people filling them out. But over here, this loop of cars, those are people in line waiting to vote. A neuroscientist tells me new information could lead to earlier disease detection, and that could change the outlook for not only those who have Alzheimer's, but their families too. I'm here in Jackson County right alongside the crash on I-94. It's just south of the Trempealeau County line. Now, I'm going to step out of the frame so you can get a better look at what I've been looking at all day. The bill only applies to kids younger than 14. Ashley Peggs says she and her kids will be changing their names as soon as possible. Dan Peggs is currently serving an 8-year sentence in federal prison. If you've been to a Bucks game, maybe you've received a rally towel or even a bobblehead. This week, the Bucks offered 20,000 fans something different, a collectible digital poster. As Sam Kramer shares, experts say these NFTs are really just the next generation of memorabilia. What a perfect night for a little bit of live music. Old Dominion, tonight's headliner, they took the stage about a half hour ago. Now, you mentioned that year off due to the pandemic. Well, the people I spoke with today coming to the event, they're just excited to get back to what this fun weekend is all about.
I had a lot of dreams about Dad coming home, and for me, it was like, is this a dream? But it felt really good, hugging him and running over there.
It was a dream come true for Tristan and Brecken Hondel when a surprise visitor showed up at the Boys and Girls Club of the Greater Chippewa Valley. Army Sergeant Matthew Hondel is finally home.
It was amazing, yeah, just having them, latch on and not let go, for it felt like it lasted forever, and it was good.
This was Hondel's 3rd trip to the Middle East. Unlike his previous 2 returns, his mom, Marcia Finseth, says this one was far more special.
It's not the first time greeting him back home, but this time was a little different because of the boys.
With the 7- and 9-year-old waiting at home, this tour felt different too.
It's a whole different experience going away, knowing that you're missing birthdays, you're missing holidays, you're missing, the school events. It's different because you know that they know what's going on and, that they miss you more. When they're younger, it's a little bit easier. You're able to just focus on the mission.
Part of that mission, preparing for the U.S.'s exit from Afghanistan. With the 20th anniversary of the September 11th attacks approaching, Hondel's journey is coming full circle.
I joined the military because of 9/11. So to be able to see that to its final fruition is pretty neat, and to be a part of that drawdown and the end of that America's longest war. It's kind of, I don't think it's really set in yet, how surreal it is to be a part of that.
With the U.S. withdrawal coming under scrutiny, especially after 13 service members were killed in a terrorist attack on August 26th, Hondel says we shouldn't look at it through our political lenses.
It doesn't matter who is in charge. It's, when you have a war of that length, trying to pull out, it's not an easy process by any means. It's kind of like tearing off a Band-Aid. It's incredibly unfortunate that we sustained casualties during the pull-out. It weighs heavy on everyone's hearts.
For his mom, after spending months worrying about her son,
I can't even describe how happy I am to have him home. I missed him. He's a grown man, he can take care of himself, but you never stop being a mom.
Or a dad.
It's gonna be great holidays. It'll be a really nice birthday and a really nice Christmas because he missed the last one.
Well, it's amazing, just reuniting with them and, spending that quality time. We've already had a few adventures we've been on just this weekend.
After 10 months away, Sergeant Matthew Hondel can now focus on another important mission, family. In Eau Claire, Max Cotton, WEAU, 13 News.
You done, Brecken?
Relief. That's what Toby Cleesby's daughter Rachel Leidy describes feeling after hearing the news that charges have been filed against Roger Mink in connection with her father's death.
It's been 2 years, and this has weighed heavily on the whole entire family. And we were worried there for some time that nothing was going to be done.
The Eau Claire County District Attorney's Office says Mink hid Toby Cleesby's body after he died from a drug overdose. Cleesby went missing in November 2018. Shortly after he was reported missing, the Eau Claire County Sheriff's Office found his abandoned car near the Chippewa River. His body was eventually found on December 6, 2018 on the 2600 block of Seymour Road at a house which belonged to Roger Mink, who was charged Wednesday with hiding Cleesby's corpse, among other charges. While Wednesday's news doesn't make things much easier for Toby's brother Todd Cleesby, he says he's hopeful he'll finally get some answers.
Still a great loss, but any information on why they hid his body and left us to searching for him for 31 days is going to be something we appreciate.
Todd Cleesby adds he's still angry at the people responsible for his brother's death.
We're angry at the people who caused us that 30 days of searching. I mean, they risked the lives of many people that were walking along the shores on the river there for 30 days. I myself was out, I don't know how many times on that river in a boat in the cold weather.
Toby Cleesby's family describes him as a caring man who went out of his way to help people. Leidy says her father was goofy and always laughing.
Everybody in the community misses him. They miss seeing him. He used to stop by people's houses randomly just to check in on them and talk to them about their day. And so a lot of people miss him.
She says words can't describe the month her father was missing. She has a message for Mink.
What kind of person are you to begin with? You probably don't have much feelings, but I would want him to know the pain that he caused for the entire family.
I would have still been angry that my brother was dead, but not as angry as I am because he was moved and this was all staged.
He says he won't have closure until he finds out exactly what happened to his brother and why. In Eau Claire, Max Cotton, WEAU, 13 News. Jody Halterman says he started hearing storm sirens around 9 p.m. Wednesday. At the same time, the Stanley Volunteer Firefighters' pager started beeping, but he says the worst hit before he could help his neighbors.
This came in so quickly, I did not have time to respond there. Within a matter of 10 seconds, this is the devastation behind me that we had.
Halterman's deck and gazebo destroyed. His shed was also damaged. His house has broken windows.
This was a loud, almost an explosion. It was almost like a bellow. You felt it suck in and blow out.
Because he has a backup generator, he has power. For many, that wasn't the case throughout Thursday. Stanley firefighters estimated between 15 and 20 homes were damaged. That's why Beth Peterson spent her day at Trinity Vineyard Church cooking.
We have heat, we have electricity, we are offering a warm place to be, a place to charge your cell phone so family can get in touch with you, and a place to grab a bowl of soup.
The American Red Cross also housed 5 people in a temporary shelter overnight. The Stanley Theater opened its doors to anyone needing help, offering hot dogs and hot chocolate. It's that community spirit which has Halterman, someone who's usually doing the serving himself, proud to be a Stanley native.
Watching everybody come together is outstanding, overjoyous. Well, it's just a feeling that is very hard to explain.
In Stanley, Max Cotton, WEAU, 13 News.
Putin has violated international law, invading a sovereign and a democratic nation that wants peace and independence.
Speaking Thursday before President Biden announced new sanctions on Russia, Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin called on the president to make the Russian leader feel pain.
I think we have to get Putin and his oligarchs where it hurts. He needs to be held accountable.
But what exactly are sanctions? UW Eau Claire political science assistant professor Damir Kovacevic says they're a way of intervening in a conflict without bombs and guns.
Sanctions are, commercial and financial penalties. So sanctions sit somewhere in between diplomacy and warfare. And so they're actually a very common governmental tool from Western governments and countries all around. It's a form of interventionism, but it's a low-cost form of interventionism.
He says their goal is usually to coerce policy or regime change. The U.S. and our allies are seeking policy change. They want Russia to leave Ukraine.
Sanctions can be wide-ranging, like, we can call those comprehensive sanctions or, embargoes, total sanctions, but often they're targeted. Comprehensive sanctions can often be quite, demoralizing to, citizens of a country.
He says Thursday's sanctions are still considered targeted. However, the penalties may not be enough.
Sanctions as a track record have a mixed track record, and in fact, a kind of underwhelming track record. I mean, the statistic on sanctions, somewhere between 5 to 30% of sanctions will have the effect that they of the specific goal.
He says the U.S. imposing these sanctions along with allies does make them more likely to succeed. In Eau Claire, Max Cotton, WEAU 13 News.